Round table.
So, you're the first Australian act to be signed by Warp, aren't you? Why do you reckon they picked you as their first?
Devastating good looks, good sunglasses, wit, women's sunglasses. I don't know. We're both wearing women's sunglasses. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure plenty of demos were sent to them from Australia, but we just, I guess we got them at the right time, and they liked the album, so that's where it went from there. Yeah, that's where the love story began. Yeah, I don't think there's any secret. I don't think there was a secret. There's no secret handshake. We didn't win Australian Idol or anything like that. Yeah. Although we are entering it next year.
Are you really?
No.
Oh, come on! We spoke to Bumblebees a few weeks ago over here. Are you good friends with them?
No, although we have a connection. Our manager's brother used to be in Bumblebees.
Yes.
Or is in Bumblebees.
Was in Bumblebees, yeah.
But I don't think I've ever actually met any of them.
There's quite a lot of sort of electronic music going on in Australia at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah.
Would you say there's a scene?
There's a certain scene. A lot of people have been asking us about that in the UK, because obviously there's a lot of sort of bands like Juggernauts and the Presets and Cup Copy and all, who are doing big things over here. And I guess there's, I don't know, is there a scene? I guess there's a scene that surrounds the label that all of those bands are on, but I mean, I don't really feel like we're part of that scene at all. It's, I guess what we do is a very different thing.
And your album is out 18th of August, isn't it? Are you feeling a bit nervous about that release?
No, it's more a feeling of relief. Yeah, it would have been, by that time it would have been finished for like 18 months. So
yeah. Wow, almost. It's been over a year. Yeah.
Oh, hang on, no, that's
May, June we finished it last year. Anyway, we've been waiting a long time for people to hear it, so it's exciting. Just glad that it makes a difference when you do gigs, especially when people have actually heard the record, because they have a context for what you're doing. And although people have been very, very receptive, you can always tell when people are actually familiar with the music. There's a few steps in the process that have been taken care of that you don't have to lead them into live, so it makes that job a hell of a lot easier. Yeah. So it'll be a relief for people to actually have a chance to hear the record finally and play it live.
Are there bits about it when you listen to it back, you're a bit like, oh, we should change that, or do you just sort of, do you not listen to it and you're like, done, it's over?
Well, I definitely don't listen to it, but the couple of times we have heard it on, like when we've been on radio shows and stuff, I think we still like it.
Yeah, I think we still like it, but I think because we're the sort of band that we're always trying to develop what we do, and there's a certain edge of experimentation to our music. I guess we'd be worried if it still sounded really, really current to us as far as where we were at musically. A year or so later, we're always trying to keep the ball rolling. Develop new ideas. So we've been working on new things more than concentrating on the album. Just to keep developing what the band does.
I read somewhere as well that you said that your album was a concept album. Is that right?
I don't think it's a concept album. It has a similar, has the same sort of how would I describe it? Has the same.
It is in feeling, I think.
Yeah,
it's in sentiment. It's a concept album, but we didn't. When we started it wasn't like, hey, let's do an album where if you play it backwards and take acid and watch, The Wizard of Oz. That it wasn't anything like that.
And it does that as well. Apparently, when you play it backwards, you can see.
That's what all the bloggers are saying.
You can see Snoopy in cartoon. You can. It has a similar feeling running throughout the record, and there's a bit of a sort of feeling of catharsis about it.
Yeah, the more and more we made it, it seemed to be making itself. So in that sense, it felt like a concept record, if you know what I mean.
How do you go about creating tracks then? Is it like one of you has an idea and you're inspired by something, you have to run in and record it, or how does it work?
It's like a weird cyclical process. And it can kind of start from any angle. It can start from bits of stuff on electronic stuff or chords, or because we all have sort of different, we all come from different set way of working. And generally, we'll develop something on the computer and then maybe add instrumentation or vice versa, and then record it and then tear it apart and put it back together again digitally, and maybe repeat that process 4 times and then mix it, or just keep it evolving. It's like an ongoing work in progress rather than it being just slammed out. Although there's a couple of tracks on the album that happened very quickly. It was just like one idea, we went to the studio and literally went bang, and it went, oh, that kind of works, and we kept it. So
and probably the most interesting thing is the fact I was in London when the majority of the record was made, and the other guys were in Sydney, so we kind of there was lots of file sharing across hemispheres while the record was made, and it made it a bit of a democratic process in that if anyone has an idea, they just did it to the file and then sent it off, and it was taken on face value. Like next morning, Richard would come and Dave's done something new. Yeah, I like that. Let's go with this, and, or I like this and this, and chop, 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 and send it back. And there was lots of backwards and forwards.
I think that you kind of met on the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah, Dave and I actually met in 2003, I think it was. A mutual friend of ours was organising a festival at the Opera House, and part of the agenda of the festival was to have some collaborative elements from people from different parts of Australia, and obviously Perth and Sydney are the opposite ends of Australia, and he thought Dave and I would work well together, and obviously he was right. And yeah, so we met literally on the day at the Opera House, and we'd had a bit of email contact beforehand, just as an introduction, and talk about what we were going to do. And it was kind of an impromptu sort of improv type thing. And strangely, the third party who was supposed to do it with us pulled out, who I think was actually Kim from the Presets, wasn't it? Was it? I think it was.
Kim or Phil?
No, I think it was Kim. Anyway, I don't know, just remembered that then, which is really weird now that I think about it. But anyway, fortuitously he pulled out, so I asked Richard to come down at the last minute and play. So technically that was the first time we had all played together as friends. But after that, Dave and I we worked on some other stuff, and then sort of 2006 we asked Dave to join the band, and at that stage the band was changing anyway, so 2006 it kind of went from being one thing to being another, and here we are now on the rooftop with the old blue lights.